Hello, good afternoon, students. We will be starting today's remedial class in some time. I hope you have all got the link. I would like you all to join. So in some time, around 12, I'm live on the link. So I would like all of you to get connected to the link that was provided to you so that we can start our session at around 12. This today's topic was circulated out. Students wanted this. This is what was told to me by Sweetie. So and I hope it is going to help you out with whatever doubts you had. So I want the students to link up on the link that was shared with you on WhatsApp and even in the Google Classroom so that we start it on time. It has been a long time. We have not been meeting like we used to do at Hislop almost every day. Let us wait for some more time because the scheduled time for this session was around 12. I see people joining. Yes, I would highly appreciate if you would just put in a comment so I know how many of you have joined. I can see Samiksha. Good morning, Samiksha. I want you to just put down your name so that I know. And it is really heartening after such a long time, looking at the names that I know, looking at your names. I am little excited. For me, even for me, this is a new experience. There are 7, I think, who are uh, connected at present. Who all are connected? If I could just get the names. 7 लोग मुझे दिख रहे हैं. तो अगर आप लोग लिख सकते हैं, आप लोग लिख सकते हैं आपका नाम. This is a new experience for all of us. We used to be there in the class. Payal. Okay, Payal. Good afternoon. So, this is a new experience for all of us. If it is a new experience for you, it is even a newer experience for me. I have, this is the first time that I will be doing a class for my students where I don't see my students face to face. Anu Shende, yes, good afternoon. Did you all get the link? Was the link circulated to all of you? We will be having such almost we'll be having almost three remedial webinars. This will be the first one. This will be followed by a webinar by Parma ma'am, and then Dr. Mayank would be conducting another one. I think you already have the details. We are still 7 minutes short of the scheduled time that was given to you. So I'll wait for another 7 minutes and then we'll start off. If you have any queries, you can just put down your queries there. Swapnita, good afternoon. I so very badly would have loved to have you, in front of me and I could see you live. This is also a way of going live, but the conventional method, I keep on remembering the conventional method that we used to have. So if you have any queries, are you all familiar with the Google Classroom that we are running? Um, if you are all familiar with the Google Classroom, if you have any queries, you can always put in your queries. We are always there for all of you, all the time. So, any queries that you would have with regards to your class, Samiksha, hello. So, if you have any queries, you can always jot it down, put it down there. We are in touch with you. We are giving you links for so many things that is happening. Whatever we can lay our hands to, we are putting the links up there for you. Participate. This is a way of, enriching yourselves. So another 5 minutes and we'll start it off. So how is the experience? Are you liking it? We have no other way but to like it right now, right? Till we meet personally again in the class. Actually, I had sent across a word through Sweetie regarding the webinar series that we'll be conducting. So this is the feedback. You all students wanted a few webinars by the staff. So we thought let us have it right across now and then give you a breather, give you a time to, carry on with your part of work. Hello Ghoshali, good afternoon. Am I audible to all of you? Yes, sweetie, good afternoon. इज द वॉइस क्लियर? सुनाई दे रहा है आप लोगों को? क्योंकि ये बिल्कुल एक नया एक्सपीरियंस है, मेरे लिए तो बिल्कुल ही नया है. आप लोग बहुत यू आर ऑन सोशल नेटवर्क, सो मे बी फॉर यू इट इज एन एवरीडे event, but for me this is absolutely new and I will try to do justice. We have another 3 minutes, we'll just wait. Yes, Zara, good afternoon. Diksha, good afternoon. It is so nice, after a long time calling out the names of your students. Well, it is giving me a big pleasure, a big pleasure indeed. जैसे क्लास में भी वेट करते हैं ना, आप लोग टिफिन खाते खाते आते हैं, तो उस तरह से मैं थोड़ा सा वेट करती हूँ और 3 मिनट फिर हम शुरू करेंगे. यस, गुड आफ्टरनून दीक्षा. So how are you liking the experience? Those who have joined, just put in a word if it is easy doing it. Sanjoli, good afternoon. Priya, good afternoon. There are a few things. Exactly at 12, I'll start off. Yes, good afternoon. Surabhi, good afternoon. So there are few likes also. It seems that you can also put your like and dislike there. Good. Priyanka, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Aryan. Well, I cannot place you right now, but good afternoon all the same. Anjali, good afternoon. Oh, the likes have gone up. Okay. So students, I know and I hope you are all keeping well and you are abiding with whatever the government is sending, all the small details that is up there on the media. So that is something. Sanjana, yeah, Sanjana. I know you very well. Ria, good afternoon, Ria. Pallavi, good afternoon. Attendance ले रही हूँ मैं. So we can think this is a sort of attendance. Akshay, good afternoon. How are you? Shalu, good afternoon. So almost we'll be starting in some time, and many of you are on board. Diksha, good afternoon. So students, good afternoon to all of you. We have been running a Google Classroom, and I hope all of you are aware of the fact that a Google Classroom is being conducted by the Department of Botany. Tejaswini Surabhi, good afternoon, welcome. So what has happened, what is the purpose? It was a very long period of time where we were not able to, get in touch with you. So we thought of this medium to get connected to all of you. And then I have Surabhi's number. So Surabhi used to do the liaison work with all of you. And मुझे बिल्कुल बहुत इच्छा थी तुम लोगों के साथ जुड़े रहने के लिए. तो मुझे लगा ये गूगल क्लासरूम एक बहुत अच्छा वे होगा आप लोगों के साथ जुड़े रहने के लिए. कुछ नोट्स दिए गए, सिलेबस मोर और लेस कंप्लीट हो गया था. 99% हो गया था. We were preparing for our exams, right? तो उसके बाद I got a feedback that you would like to have a few classes by all of us. Then we thought of a webinar series जिसमें मैं, परमा और मयंक सर तीनों एक एक सेशन ले लेंगे. We are always there for you, any time. और अभी गूगल क्लासरूम होने के कारण यू कैन बी इन टच विथ अस एनी टाइम ऑफ द डे. बट you have to study, you have to take life as it come, you have to be very strong. This is a new experience for you as well as me. मैं तो आप लोगों से बहुत बड़ी हूँ, पर मेरे लिए भी ये पहला experience in my lifetime. But I am very sure we all will come out very, very strong. This is a passing time, एक passing phase है. ये phase भी निकल जाएगा. So don't worry. आपका काम है पढ़ना, पढ़ो. बहुत से फ्री कोर्सेज चल रहे हैं. टेक पार्ट इन दैट. ट्राई टू लर्न समथिंग. ट्राई टू यूज इट कंस्ट्रक्टिवली. ठीक है. एंड द रेस्ट विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. डोंट वरी अबाउट द फ्यूचर, इट इज ब्राइट. तो आप लोग चाह रहे थे कि मैं सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन पे एक कोर्स लूं. सो विल हैव अ स्मॉल क्लास टुडे. एक चीज बिफोर आई स्टार्ट विद द सेशन ऑफिशियली, आई वांट टू टेल यू अबाउट टू थिंग्स. आई विल बी मेकिंग ऑल दिस अनाउंसमेंट्स इन द गूगल क्लासरूम. तो प्लीज यू आर ऑल रिक्वेस्टेड टू बी इन टच विद द गूगल क्लासरूम. उससे क्या होगा कि आप लोग समझते रहेंगे कि गूगल क्या बोला जा रहा है, हम लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं. एंड just in near future we are going to have some tests. College has asked us to conduct some tests, so for that also we'll be putting up an announcement. तो आप अगर in touch रहेंगे गूगल क्लासरूम के, you will all be aware of what is happening. Now should we all start with today's topic, centrifugation? Right. See students, this is one topic which you have heard. You have heard about it many times. This topic deals with separation. Separation matlab to separate out compounds. Now you have heard of this separation of compounds. आपने खाली इसको बॉटनी में नहीं सुना है. You have not only heard of it in the different courses that you have taken up in life sciences like biochemistry or biotechnology. You have also learnt about it in your biotech chemistry. Now, separation, what do we mean exactly by separation? It is separation of substances from a mixture. अगर एक मिक्सचर है उसमें से अगर आप कंपाउंड्स को सेपरेट करते हैं, दैट इज सेपरेशन. एंड दिस इज अ जनरल टर्म, बट आज हम जो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट टुडे, दैट इज ऑन a colloidal solution. What is a colloidal solution? Colloidal solution is a homogeneous mixture, and where it is just impossible for you to tell apart the components. आप अलग अलग से नहीं बोल सकते हैं ये component A है, ये component B है. ठीक है. You have studied chromatography. It is a method of separation. You have studied about it in Sem 5. I'm talking about botany. आपने botany में Sem 5 में chromatography करा है, in wherein you separated out the chlorophyll pigments. You separated out the various compounds. So this is one method. The other methods can be applied in case to case basis. जैसा substance रहेगा, जैसा आपको करना है, उस हिसाब से case to case basis में you can apply different procedure. If at one end we have chromatography, then at the other end of the spectrum, there is electrophoresis. Now, this electrophoresis is a very high-end process. So we will not be using it every now and then. And in between this electrophoresis and chromatography, there are simpler processes also, like precipitation, sedimentation, centrifugation. Now, precipitation, sedimentation, this is also a method of separation widely used. Lekin it is a very time consuming process. A whole lot of time will be lost. And um, and if you have to carry on a scientific work, you cannot afford to give that much of time. So in laboratories, mostly you are associated, or the process that generally we take into consideration is electrophoresis. Now, I'm sorry. We have to do electrophoresis in our syllabus, but today we will be concentrating on centrifugation. So, in laboratories to do the process fast, we concentrate on this process of centrifugation. So, centrifugation basically, what does it do? It does the separation. It does help us in separation, but separation by means of spinning. And this is a generalized instrument, an image of the instrument, which is a device which works for spinning and for separation. Now, in centrifugation, we are concerned with the separation of macromolecules. Now, what are macromolecules? Macromolecules are the substances which are subcellular or cellular. So subcellular cellular मतलब क्या? Cellular और subcellular मतलब जैसे proteins हैं, then cellular compounds है, cell organelles है, ठीक है? So today's topic is separation through centrifugation, and mostly macromolecules. Now let me just greet my students who have joined little late, like Uzma, Rupal, then Monica, Gayatri. Good afternoon, students. It's just a glory. It is such a pleasure to have all of you again, and it gives me such good, it gives me great pleasure calling out your names. ऐसा लगता है जैसे कि मैं क्लास में ही हूँ. माधवी, welcome Madhavi. So, see, we never thought, तब मैं आप लोगों को बोल रही थी get ready for your exams. We never thought we will be under lockdown and we'll have to be live virtually. Anyway, as the time comes, we'll take it up and we'll just fight it out. There are absolutely no worries. So, let me continue with the session. तो centrifugation समझ में आया. हम लोग separation ही पढ़ेंगे. Separation through a method which is more advanced than chromatography sedimentation. ठीक है? Now, this is the instrument. This is, I will not call the instrument, this is how it works. So, in a centrifugation, you will have the centrifuge tubes and there would be a rotor. And this particular centrifugation, it happens due to a force which is known as a centrifugal force. Now, this rotor will spin at a particular speed and will produce what is known as the centrifugal force, and the centrifugal force will help to separate out the constituents in a colloidal solution which is based on density of both the sample and the solvent, the solution, the medium, viscosity, distance of the particle that are displaced, and of course the rotation speed. Now here there is a term called temperature. In many cases what happens, in centrifugation, when we use a very high-end centrifugation, that's ultra centrifuge है या refrigerated centrifuge है, they work at a very high speed, thus generating lot of heat. at that time it has an inbuilt capacity to cool it down. So temperature is also a very important criteria. So this rotor, it spins and it produces a centrifugal force. This centrifugal force which is created, it is applied to every particle, and this force, because it is applying to every particle, this will have an effect on the sedimentation rate. At a fixed centrifugal force and for a particular viscosity of the liquid, thickness of the liquid, the sedimentation rate is proportionate to the particle size. When I say particle size, यहाँ पे हम जब भी particle बोलेंगे, please keep it in mind that we are talking about the macromolecules. So it will depend on the molecular size of the particles, and it also will depend on the difference of the particle density and the density of the solution. So in this solution, जिस particle का density heavier है, the particles which have higher density will sink, and the particles which are lighter, हल्का है, which will they will float. लेकिन अगर density बिल्कुल same है तो there is another method. It is a method of centrifugation. It is known as isopenic centrifugation. I'll give a brief account of that also as we proceed. But this is a very good method for taking care of separation of particles where there is even a small difference in the density. So this is how it works. Do we have, yes, we have a few more students. Welcome to the webinar session. Neha, Misbah, please, good afternoon all of you, and I hope I am audible to all of you and the slides are clear. If the slides are clear and am I audible, please just put down yes so that I know that whatever is being explained to you, you can follow it. Just put in a comment so that I know whether the slides are visible and I'm audible. मैं जो कुछ बोल रही हूँ वो सुनाई दे रहा है आप लोगों को? Yes, thank you so much. And the slides are also clear? Good. Do you think it is helping you out till now? ठीक है. Okay, let us resume. So this is how it works. So basically हमारे पास एक रोटर है, हमारे पास सेंट्रीफ्यूज ट्यूब है, और हमारा काम कौन कर रहा है? हमारा काम सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स कर रहा है, जो डिपेंड एंड सेपरेट कैसे कर रहा है? इट डिपेंड्स ऑन डेंसिटी, विस्कोसिटी, distance of particle and the rotation speed. Now there are basically two types of procedures. Basically broadly अगर हम classify करते हैं, there are two types of procedures in centrifugation. One is the preparatory procedure and the other one is the analytical. So what happens in preparatory centrifugation? This is basically done for isolation of particles. Mainly हम isolate कर देंगे and we'll know about them. The other one is analytical. This is more important. This is used for generally isolation followed by their analysis. Analysis means shape, size, identification, characterization. So this is very important. Another very important factor that is associated with these two are the speed. So here the speed, rotation per minute would be small, whereas here it is very huge, it's big. And because of this high speed, generally they will produce lot of heat. and hence they would require a lot of cooling. Now, students, सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन किस लिए कर रहे हैं? सेपरेशन के लिए कर रहे हैं. इसमें क्या काम कर रहा है? सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स काम कर रहा है. सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स किससे क्रिएट हो रहा है? रोटर से क्रिएट हो रहा है. द बेसिक्स वी नो, बट व्हाट इज द प्रिंसिपल बिहाइंड इट? सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स है क्या चीज? क्यों प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है? क्या खाली सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है या फिर कुछ और भी है? व्हाट इज द मिस्ट्री बिहाइंड इट? अगर हम इसको स्पिन कर रहे हैं खाली सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स हो रहा है, तो पार्टिकल्स खाली सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स के कारण निकल जा रहा है? नो, इट्स नॉट सो सिंपल. So what happens, when any mass is spinning at a given axis with a given radius, ठीक है? सोचो, there is a center and I am spinning a mass. So वो एक particular radius पे spin कर रहा है at a given speed, at a given axis it is rotating. So it will experience a force towards the center. ठीक है? Anything that moves towards the center is the centripetal force. Similarly, there would be a reaction force as well. वो reaction force क्या है? अगर centripetal force is moving towards the center, the reaction force will move away from the center. This is known as the centrifugal force. Now, if a solution has particles of different masses and it is again rotated in a circular fashion, these particles are acted upon by two more forces. One is the force of friction, another one is force of buoyancy. तो हमने क्या देखा? एक है सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स, एक है सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स. सेंटर की तरफ अगर है सेंट्रीपिटल, सेंटर से दूर अगर है सेंट्रीफ्यूगल, लेकिन beside these two there are two more. एक है फ्रिक्शन, एक है बायंसी. बायंसी, by now you all are familiar with this term, बहुत बार यूज कर सके. बायंसी means it helps the particle to float around. float तो हम इसमें liquid medium में to separate out. And friction is when it is separating out, it is undergoing a force of friction with the medium. Will it help to separate? No. Now, this centrifugal force which is created needs to counteract these two forces so that it can only act and separate out the particles. So, main master hai, there are so many forces, but the master is the centrifugal force which will counterbalance both friction and buoyancy. So, here what happens? The centrifugal force overcomes both these forces, and because it is able to overcome both these forces, the particles separate out. The heavier particles move away from the center, get deposited, will sink in the solvent, and the lighter ones will be at the top. So, buoyant force, मैंने अभी जैसे आपको बोला है, this is the force with which the particles they displace the liquid, the solvent, and move away. And the frictional force, when they are doing so, they are moving against the medium. तो इन दोनों फोर्स को अगर counteract कर पा रहा है centrifugal force, then you have what is known as the force of centrifugation, and which is helping to separate out the particles. Have you understood this? If you have understood this much, it will, this is the basis. This is how the centrifuge machine will work. In a एक सिंपल सेंट्रीफ्यूज मशीन में भी यही काम करेगा प्रिंसिपल, यही काम करेगा एक अल्ट्रा सेंट्रीफ्यूज या रेफ्रिजरेटेड सेंट्रीफ्यूज में. दिस इज द बेसिस ऑफ centrifugation. If you have understood this, you have understood everything. So students, am I clear? यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है क्लास में जब आप लोग मेरे साथ रहते हैं, looking at your faces, I know. But here, because it is virtual, I have to be very repetitive and every time I need to ask you. And if you would be good enough to put in yes, I would know that yes, my students are following what I am trying to explain. Okay, how many of you have joined right now? I do not. Revati. Revati has joined. Swapnita. Swapnita was already there. So, are you all following? Good, good, good. Shreya has put on a lot of emojis. ठीक है श्रेया, मुझे समझ आ गया. तुमने सबके ओर से you have put those emojis, so you are following. I'm so happy. Okay, okay. Now what is happening, you know? ये जो centrifugation is, thank you so much. Thank you Akshay, Gayatri, sweetie. Now this centrifugal force will create what is known as a centrifugal field. Now this centrifugal field is dependent on force by mass. It depends upon the ratio of force, what is you are applying, and mass of the object. And because of this centrifugal field, यहाँ gravitational force is not working. So this centrifugal force is creating what is known as a centrifugal field and enabling the particles, because of a particular force, to separate out. एंड सेपरेशन कैसा हो रहा है, क्योंकि ये डेंसिटी मास वॉल्यूम पे डिपेंडेंट है, ये सेपरेट आउट हो रहा है इन डिफरेंट लेयर्स. सो रोटेटिंग of this solution at a particular speed and radius generates what is known as a centrifugal field, and it is totally dependent on the ratio of force by mass. ठीक है, can I move a little further? So centrifugal force is the actual force which enables the separation, and field पूरी तरह से जब ये force के कारण ये field तैयार हो गया, separation would be complete. So this field will ensure a proper and a complete separation. So students, what I will do after the seminar, our session is over, I will post this particular PPT in our classroom. So you can go through this PPT, so it will help you while you are studying. And those who have joined a little late, let me tell you, please be in touch with the Google Classroom, where we are posting some announcement or the other, because shortly, in some time, maybe next week, anytime next week, you would have a class test which would be conducted by our college. So all of you are expected to participate in these tests. And not only the test, there will be a series of webinar. After me, it will be Parama, day after tomorrow, and then it would be Dr. Mayank. Do participate, because it will only help you in being in touch with the class and the topic. Ria, did I miss out a question? Ria Gupta, yes ma'am, but why the force doesn't act on the rotating molecules? But just a second, please. Let me just have a look. Because this is this is a homogeneous solution. We are talking about a homogeneous solution, a colloidal homogeneous solution, and we need they are all floating molecules. So they are floating molecules, and this force will affect on these floating molecules, and depending upon their density, they will separate out. See, those which are those which are floating out, again depending upon their density they will separate out, but those at that particular level, depending upon the force, will separate out. Another thing, when we are talking about a colloidal solution here, it is a homogeneous mixture, right? It is a homogeneous mixture of so many substances, but only difference is the density. Floating molecules would the situation of floating molecules will arise only if we have a heterogeneous mixture where it will be different. Here it is a homogeneous mixture where you are not you do not you cannot separate out the mixtures. So question of the force applying on floating molecules as such will not arise. Have I made myself clear? See, for example, consider we have a mixture where nothing is visible, and you have force which is being applied uniformly to the whole solution, which will have the solvent as well as the sample. Floating molecules will arise only when you have a heterogeneous group and it does not mix up in the homogeneous mixture, right? यहाँ पर एक ही सोल्यूशन है, आप अलग अलग से ए बी सी करके मॉलिक्यूल्स को आप नहीं आइडेंटिफाई कर सक रहे, तो वो फ्लोट, हाउ विल दे फ्लोट आउट? यहाँ पे हर एक यूनिफॉर्मली फोर्स अप्लाई कर रहा है, और जब डेंसिटी या फिर साइज या फिर मॉलिक्यूलर वेट पे वो असर कर रहा है, वो अलग होते जा रहा है. एक सॉल्वेंट पेलेट इस तरह से वो सेपरेट आउट हो रहा है. That is how it will go about. I think it is clear now. Yes, Riya? So when you are talking about floating molecules, generally it is a case of heterogeneous mixture, but इसीलिए centrifugation is highly recommendable, in research बोलो, analytical बोलो, माइन्यूट से माइन्यूट भी अगर डेंसिटी डिफरेंसेस है ना, दिस इज द प्रोसेस by which we the process which is applied to separate the various constituents. Now, what are the basic different types of centrifuges? देखो, if you look at this diagram, this is a hand centrifuge. This is the most basic type where this centrifugal force is created by your hand. And then there are simple bench top centrifuges. They're very simple. They are mostly used for laboratories, for small amount of work, रिसर्च एप्लीकेशन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल माइक्रोबायोलॉजी आप लोगों के डिपार्टमेंट में भी यूज़ होता है, बायोकेमिस्ट्री बायोटेक्नोलॉजी में तो हरदम यूज़ होता है. फॉर क्लिनिकल, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ब्लड सैंपल्स टेस्ट करने के लिए. सो दिस इज नॉट अ वेरी हाई एंड प्रोसेस, बट माइंड यू हर जगह पे प्रिंसिपल वही है, सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स एंड सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फील्ड. एंड एक चीज याद रखना, इट इज ऑलवेज when we are talking about centrifugation, we are talking about a homogeneous colloidal solution. Now this is something different. Refrigerated centrifuge and a benchtop centrifuge. The ultracentrifuge. Ultracentrifuge is a centrifuge which has a very big high capacity. Now this is generally used for separation of macromolecules, separation of proteins, lipoproteins, then separation of fractions from plasma. It's a very compact device, it's a costly device, and The refrigerated one again is a very high-end centrifuge where the speed is such that a lot of heat is generated. So it has an inbuilt capacity for cooling itself down and helps in separation. अगर amino acid का analysis करना है, अगर cell organelles में से you have to study about mitochondria and the fractions. You have to have protein precipitated. So that means these centrifuges, they are for high-end analysis and study. Preparatory, तो आप preparatory में क्या कर रहे हैं? Just for preparation, separation of two layers. फिर उसका study कर लिया. But यहाँ पे it will do your work, and they also have an inbuilt software which will give you an analysis, right? Okay. Do you think we are? Do you think that बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया आज? Do you think that? A little है ना? लेकिन we have met after such a long time, right? We have met after such a long time. Now, rotors. What are rotors? मैंने आपको पहले ही बोला था, there is a rotor which spins at a definite speed. So, rotors are actually what should I say? This is what is working in a centrifuge, which is creating the centrifugal force. Now, there are two basic types of rotors. One is a fixed angle rotor. अगर आप देखते हैं यहाँ पे fixed angle rotor में क्या है ना, it will not move a wide distance. And the other one is a swinging bucket rotor, which will move to a big distance. Now, in a fixed angle rotor, because the area where it spins or it moves is small, so what happens? It covers only short distances, so the separation at many times would not be complete. But for all small practicals, basic practicals, this is widely used. बिल्कुल हाई एंड जो है वो है swinging bucket rotors, which is used for complete separation, and it is very easy to clearly separate out the pellet and the supernatant. आप जो सेपरेट कर रहे हैं दो हिस्सों में बिल्कुल अलग से आप उसको सेपरेट कर सकते हैं. दिस इज फॉर pellet and supernatant. यहाँ और क्लियर हो जाएगा आपके लिए. So a fixed angle rotor is a rotor which is used in your general laboratories. In botany we might use it but for molecular biology, biotechnology, for analysis, high-end analysis, generally people would use swinging bucket because the distance covered, the swinging creates the distance covered is more in swinging bucket rotor. So because it will be covering a long distance, the separation would be better. But here the separation may not always be to what you need, but it helps you in your general separation. And mostly this is used because it is easy to separate out the supernatant from the pellet. See, this is an assignment time, yes, I agree, but before that ये जो centrifugation होता है, this is of two types, एक है differential, like the name suggests, differentiate out होना, ठीक है, depending upon the density, mass, velocity, वो separate out हो जाएगा from the solution, sample solution. Simple है, differentiate out होना. एक है डेंसिटी ग्रेडियंट. Now this is little complicated. Density gradient में क्या होता है, मैंने पहले स्लाइड में जब मैं आपको पढ़ा रही थी ना, तो समझा रही थी, तो then I told you about isopenic separation. So what happens in density gradient, this is generally used for separation of proteins, nucleic acids or amino acids. So density gradient, gradient mean grades. So in density gradients you have a solution. Again, this can be of two type. One is rate zonal and the other one is isopenic. Rate zonal में क्या है, आप एक gradient sucrose solution तैयार कर रहे हैं. You put your sample at the top and based on their density they will separate out in grades. ठीक है, लेकिन what happens in isopenic, here you have to have a solution of carbohydrates or colloidal silica gel, and concentration of this increases from the top to the bottom. मतलब आपका जो मीडियम हो रहा है that has a gradient, and the gradient is increases from the top to the bottom, and it is uniformly mixed up with all the the sample like DNA, RNA. It is homogeneously mixed, and then due to centrifugation, as a result of the force, sedimentation and differentiation will take place for each particle depending upon its density gradient with the gradient of the solution. तो ये these are सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन. हमने पहले इसमें बोला कि डेंसिटी अलग होगा, साइज अलग होगा, मॉलिक्यूलर वेट होगा, तो छट छट से सेपरेट हो जाएगा. बट व्हाट हैपेंस इफ इट इज they have the same density? Then we have advanced technique like your differential centrifugation and your the other type, that is gradient separation. So in दोनों में कैसा है कि gradient is even higher end than the differential. Gradient में you will have a solution where you make a solution of different gradient. The gradient will increase from top to bottom, and this has to be homogeneously, mind you, homogeneously mixed with the sample DNA, RNA. तो ये जो दो टाइप के हैं ना, these are highly what should I say, very very high end procedures which is used. High end जब मैं बोल रही हूँ, it is also used in PG में. This is a common practice, so they do it in PG, even in botany with molecular biology and biotechnology they are doing it. Now just this is just few questions. I am not going to ask you to write them out, but if you are able to solve these questions, that means your comprehension of the topic would be good. Like what are the applications of centrifuge? What is the working principle of a centrifuge? What are the different types of centrifuge? And what do you know about the origin of centrifuge? Students, I did not tell you anything about the origin of centrifuge. I want you students to find it out for yourself. तो थोड़ा सा खुद आप लोग, you're so tech savvy, so many of you were there today for this webinar, so you can just find it out and see whether what can be the origin of centrifuge. You can send me a feedback on the origin, and I have already provided you with some class notes, and I would, if you want, I will post this PPT in the Google Classroom. So between both of these, I think it would be easier for you to understand the topic. Is that right? Have you followed the topic today? For me, this was the first time that I have conducted a class for the students virtually. So I don't know how much you have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it a lot because this is a new thing I have learned. So as thank you so much, thank you. So as I would be winding it up in some time, let me tell you a few things. Be in constant touch with Google Classroom. Follow the webinars that we are conducting. If any message is sent through the WhatsApp, follow that message. Shortly there would be a test by the college. Please write the test, because as of today we do not know how things will work out. We are going to have some exam sometime when the government announces it, but right now the college would be conducting a few tests. So please, students, be in touch. Write the test. Write the test, and I keep on sending you some links for quiz, some competition, something. Take part. It doesn't matter how you, what you do, how you fare, क्या marks मिल रहा है, क्या हो रहा है. It all will help you one day. तो मैसेज आ रहा है, छोड़ दो, ऐसे नहीं करो. दिस इज ऑल लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस. और अगर कहीं पे ऐसे छोटे छोटे कोर्सेज करने का, इफ यू गेट ए चांस, अप्लाई करो. Everything will enrich you. And do not worry. Again, I'll tell, do not worry regarding the situation. This is a passing phase. This will go away, and in maybe in a year's time, by God's grace, you will not also remember this time. So don't worry. What you have to do as a student, keep yourself in touch with the subject, with all the subjects. Go on studying. You need not study the whole day. Go on studying. Be prepared anytime. If they ask you to sit for the exam, you are ready. Right? So do take great care of yourselves. Stay home. Stay healthy. Do not venture out. And always pay heed to all the communication that comes out from the government. सब लोग बहुत यंग है, बहुत जोश है, लेकिन बाहर जाना नहीं है. घर में बैठ के ही you can entertain yourselves, right? So till we meet again, and if you have any queries, do post them to me on the Google Classroom. All the very best. Do very well in life. So take good care of yourself, and thank you, students, for being a part of this webinar. You're all welcome. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you. I was missing this for a long time, and you people have made it possible today. Thank you so very much. Take great care of yourselves.